boy. Oh. Whew. Hey, how you doing? It's a long way up. I'm Dave Chalmers, your real estate buddy, outstanding in his field today. It's the end of July, 1st of August, and it's time for the July real estate report for Northumberland County. And I started it like yesterday on my computer, and this is what it looked like. In July, we had 174 homes on the market. Last month, 174. The year before that was 191, and the year before that was 184. So you'll see that July 2020 was July 2019, 2018. Now in June, we had 226 homes on the market. In July 207, the year before that was 173. So June, we started pushing, June started getting down, but July fell off a little bit. Be careful of that. I mean, who wants to listen to that? It doesn't make any sense even to me when I say it. There's just too many numbers. So I thought I would take a day or two and let it percolate and see if I could find an easier way to do it. And I was out here this morning working away, and I thought this might be a cool place to try and do it. And it is a cool place in the shade here. It's kind of nice. So let's get started with this. The real estate market in Northumberland County, like everything else in 2020, is a little bit different than you might expect it to be. And so in plain, easy numbers, new listings for July 2020. How many properties came on the market last month? And the answer is 174. How many properties came on the market in June, the month before? The answer is 226. So our inventory dropped 24% in July. Supply dropped 24% in July. How was the demand? In July, we sold 197 homes. In June, we sold 177 homes. That means that in July, the demand increased by 11%. Supply went down, demand went up. Simple economics, we all know what that means. It can make things very complicated. And we're seeing that now. As you're driving down the road now, and you're seeing houses go on the market on a Monday, sometimes they're selling on a Tuesday, and it's really challenging for people to try and keep up with that. We're going to talk about that a little bit a little bit later. But that's this is the simple part of what's happening. But let's take a look at a little bit deeper into the numbers, just a little bit, okay? And let's start off by looking at the sales. Let's take a look at the sales as they occurred in the past. July 2020, we sold 197 homes. Last year in July was 126, and in 2018 it was 103. Now that may be significant or not. It all depends on the trends that we're finding in the marketplace as things get busy and things get slow. So let's take a look at June for last year. In June of 2020, we sold 177 homes, and in 2019 that number was 113. In 2018 it was 116. So we're seeing that the market is building a bit towards July, and that's very normal, very typical. 197 is a real push. Let's take a look at how the listings came on the market in the past. This year, as I say, in July we had 174 new listings. Last year we had 191. The year before that we had 173. In June we had 226 come on. In June of 2019 we had 207. In 2018 we had 184. Now in May is when we really hit a pickle in 2020. In May we had 138 new properties come on the market. In 2019 we had 229, and in 2018 we had 217. In April it was 177 this year because of the virus. The year before was 211. Now we've talked about that. Now we've talked about that before. This year, because of the virus, our timing is all skewed. We don't know exactly when and how things are going to come available, or when the demand's going to be there. Clearly the demand's there now, but there's not enough houses coming on the market to suit it, you would think. But let's take a look at the year-to-date numbers. That might be an interesting thing too. Year-to-date listings on the market in 2020, we've had 1,035 homes come available. Last year we had 1,244. That's a significant difference. And the year before we had 1,123. Very significant difference. And how did that translate to sales year to date? This year we've had 779 homes sell. Last year, with all that extra inventory, we had 772 homes sell. And the year before that, we had 620 homes sell. And so we can see that this year, even though we have fewer homes coming available, we have sales, our sales are accelerating. So it's a seller's market. And that's why when you drive down the street sometimes, you'll be looking, a sign will go up on the yard for sale, the next day it'll be sold. There's not enough out there to look at, and there's pent-up demand. Now, where's that demand coming from? There's certainly people locally that are trying to make a change. There always is. But also, there's going to be people that are coming out of the city now. With the virus, we're seeing a definite push of folks that are trying to get out of the city, sometimes for a weekend or 2 or 3 days a week property, sometimes for a permanent move. My experience has been more, it's people that are looking for a place to go to should things get messy again. They're going to keep their place in the city. But they have enough equity they can make that kind of a deal work. And they're in a position where they're borrowing against the house or they in the city where they have the inventory, where they have the equity and the prices are high. They're coming out to the rural areas of Northumberland County where prices to them are low, and they're in a position to buy really fast. So it's really a challenge for local buyers and sellers to be able to do that. If you have to make an offer that's conditional on financing, it's going to slow things down. You could be in a bit of a pickle. Or if you're a person who needs to sell their home in order to buy a home, and truthfully, most normal people do, then that too is going to put you in a weaker position when the market's like this. So there are steps we have to take to prepare to be able to do that. There's a strategy we can develop to try and increase the chances, but it's still going to be a pressure cooker and it's still going to be a challenge as long as we're in this position. If you're a buyer, it's really important that you plan ahead. You have to know where your money's coming from, the kind of house you have. If you have to sell your house before you buy, it's got to be ready to go. It's got to be ready to sell. You really have to be ready to go with it. If you're a seller, well, that would seem like the easy part. But if you're a seller and if your home is the largest single asset that you're ever going to have, it's really important that you understand exactly how much it's worth and that you really hold it out to try and make sure you get as much as you can. And by doing that, it's possible to slow the market down, to ensure that we get maximum exposure. We've got a strategy to be able to do that with a lot of social media marketing, a lot of staging ahead of time, and front loading all the marketing so that when it hits the market, it's ready to go. And in fact, we can even market it out of town a little bit for a week or two before it actually hits the market locally. We've used this strategy a number of years ago, and it's worked really, really well. If you're a seller, it's important that you don't necessarily take the offer. How do I say this? You want to take it. If you're a seller, it's important that you be sure that when you get an offer, your home has been adequately exposed. Now, if you're a seller, it's important that before you receive an offer, you're sure and comfortable that your home has been exposed to the widest part of the market as possible. We don't want to list at 9 o'clock in the morning and then take a check from the first one who comes through the door. It's not the first one with a check that wins. It should be the biggest check that wins. I'm not suggesting you should not take the first offer. It's often your best one. But it's important that you know that the offer that you're getting is the one that's going to suit you best, and that you've had an opportunity for the greater part of the market to be able to see it. If you're thinking of selling, let me explain that to you. I'm not doing it very well today because it's a little bit shaky up here right now, and I really think I need to be getting down. The market's going to ripen. There's not many houses that are just kind of rotting on the vine right now. But it's important for all of us that we position ourselves properly, both buyers and sellers. So please, if you or someone you care about is thinking about making a change in real estate, don't keep this little farmer a secret. That's the end of the content that I'm able to share with the public. If you'd like to dig a little deeper, if you're someone who's interested in what's really happening in the market, and you'd like to see all the houses that came on the market in July by the community, all the sales by the community, what homes sold for, how long it took to sell, what the market's like, so you can measure and make your own conclusions, do your own research, just join the community in the column or the margin on the side, and we'll share that with you happily. Glad to do it. Gather your information now. When you're ready to go to the next step, we'll be here for you. We'll be ready when you are. Cheers.